You see what happens, Charlize Theron, when you use a clip where you swear? Danhausen is on the screen saying, "No swearing! No swearing! No swearing."
I'm telling you, Ashley, you need to get that picture from Orange Cassidy, the event from GCW, where he ran his own show with Nick Gage, thumbs up, with the sunglasses
Oh, it'll be
on, but
ready
I
for
want it
next
for
week.
Oscar Sunday.
It'll be ready for next week.
Much appreciated. Welcome, everyone.
Instead, you just
I'm
get
not
the
going to do a
wall
cold.
of miffed Hanks.
Yeah, apparently this is a cold open because I'm absolutely freezing right now because it is super cold in here. That's what happens when you run in 46-degree weather. Welcome to a literal cold open here in your last award show prediction, not this case prediction, but award show podcast, exclusively here on the Popcast Network. My name is Owen. Joining me as always, we have Ashley and we have AJ.
Yeah.
And we are going to be discussing our second to last televised award show of the season because we're not covering Spirits here. We're doing it on our recap show, basically like our pre-show for the Oscars on Sunday.
If that's the case, we might have to go an hour beforehand.
I don't care. That's fine.
We'll do an hour.
I have the whole day
hour,
off for a
because
reason.
if we've got that and obviously our own lists and a brief talk about the Razzies as well, that's enough time to fit that in, so AJ can go off and watch it on the telly.
And Brian, if you're hearing me right now, I don't know. I haven't seen you pop up in chat yet, but I'm sure you're around. Please leave us the criteria for what's going to happen this week, and I can keep that in mind when I make up a list so I don't look like an idiot trying to make them up on the fly. I kind of want to have an idea what I'm going into before I say anything. Smurfy Boy says, so is it safe to say 1917 is winning Best Picture next Sunday? I hope not.
No.
No.
And I don't believe that to be the case either.
No.
Especially not after what happened with the guilds. But we'll get to that in a bit.
Also, sorry I don't mean to keep bringing up Moonlight because it will trigger you.
Please
Owen.
don't. It didn't happen.
Yes,
Shut up.
What I'm trying to say is if you look over the number of years, there has been not that many films matching picture and director. I think the only one was maybe Shape of Water.
This year.
The only one was Shape of Water, I think, at least in the last 5 years.
Yeah, because before that was The Artist, I think. Or Birdman.
Birdman first.
That would have been 2014, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Plus, there's the whole thing of, regardless of what the race looked like, pretty much everybody knew this was going to be a 1917 night, regardless.
Yeah, no lie. There was so much, as Ashley likes to call it, British skew tonight. It wasn't even funny.
Yeah, cool guy just mentioned.
That's why it made me exceedingly happy when it lost the categories it lost tonight.
Well, there is one area where we didn't have the British skew, and that was the acting categories.
Yeah.
Thank God. Even though it basically has become the most boring. Like we say every year, it's the award shows are great. When we get to the televised award shows, and it becomes everybody wins everything, it either gets really old really fast, or it's really awesome to see. And we got a little bit of everything tonight. Both columns are covered.
So, considering the title of this video, shall we start on last week and last night?
Well, first off, I'm not done with chat yet, so I haven't even gotten to go to chat.
I thought you ignore some of the sports stuff.
Yeah, and I don't care about sports, obviously. Cool Guy says I'm predicting Parasite. And Hollywood, in a span of 2 weeks, has had one of the biggest collapses. Just like WWE, I blame bad booking. Cool Guy says, remember when people were predicting The Irishman for picture, and it's likely to be the only Best Picture nominee not to win anything. You know, after tonight, I'm not sure about that to be the case.
Who knows?
We'll talk about the
Yeah.
guilds in a minute. Bert, yeah, okay, Gangs of New York Part 2. Yeah, we bring that up every week, actually. AJ brought it up when you weren't here the other night, so. Andrea DaCosta, a new name I haven't seen before. Parasite Mind Win Picture is what I feel. A big surprise if JoJo or Joker wins. Shock actually will be fun if it happens. I would not have one iota of a problem if that happened, especially JoJo.
Yeah, it seems like every week we say that JoJo is on the rise, and every week we have a new reason to say that.
Absolutely. Cool guy says I feel so bad for Thomas Newman.
Yeah.
Not for this score, but yeah, I do understand what you mean. I've enjoyed his scores in the past. Smurfy Boy says I'm kind of shocked JoJo became the front runner for adapted screenplay at the last minute. I don't think there's a front because there's so many. It's all over the place right now.
Yeah, if we hadn't done predictions yet, I honestly, because when we did the prediction video, I said Gerwig with the most confidence. I basically was saying to already have it handed to her. So we'll really see how much they want to make up for the controversy or not.
I actually think as much as I'd love to see Greta win because obviously I'm a super bias and I think it's over. I think it needs to happen. If Taika Waititi takes it from her, I'm not going to have a problem with that. I love JoJo and Little Women. I'm extremely lukewarm about, to say the least. Um, To be honest, if most people who really dive into Oscars watch for acting races, they'd be mighty bored for the past 10 years. Very true. And I'm going JoJo because it's clearly more liked. Well, that's obvious, but I mean, who knows at this point? Now we can go into what happened with the guild.
So, first up last week, the DGA's documentary feature film went to American Factory. It's probably fair from the list that we had.
Yep.
First time feature did go to Alma Harrell for Honey Boy. And the DGA went to Sam Mendes. Because lol.
Which means that AJ and myself tied for DGA.
Mm-hmm.
I really should have. I really should have gone with American Factory. I don't know why I didn't.
It was the Honeyland influence.
But we all messed up. We all missed one, so that the other one got. So that's the reason. It was very close.
I think you'll find I missed two. Losers
Yeah,
bandwagon. Losers bandwagon. Yes. And then in the WGAs, weirdly, I came out on top because we had Inventor out for Blood in Silicon Valley getting documentary.
Yep.
Good old Alex Gibney. Obviously, we all missed with Greta for adapted because that went to Waititi, which all of a sudden means it's brilliant because Zalian's script went from frontrunner literally 6 weeks ago to now just being possible with Waititi and Gerwig arguably being the two most likely now.
Yeah, before somebody brings it up, because I'm sure they will, yes, I was talking to Owen earlier about how I did earlier in this year compare Zalian's chances to that of James Ivory and Call Me By Your Name, which is now the complete and total opposite. So,
Right. Ashley, before you go ahead, Smurfy Boy says the problem with Little Women, it's been kind of been there, done that. Cool Guy says, do Oscars voters care about the controversy? There were Oscar voters who doubled down on Green Book because of the controversy. Might be the reason why they're not doing it this year, because it was so universally hated. Uh, cool Guy said to Smurfy Boy, that's likely what took down A Star Is Born. He called it A Star Is Dead again. Cool Guy says Honeyland at the Oscars, but American Factory is close.
And then Bong winning original screenplay.
Yeah, there was a time in this race that Noah Baumbach seemed like a sure thing. I honestly think that the voters just don't like that couple because they just screw them over left and right this whole season.
Keep in mind, I told you, before we started this and before AJ came on, the London critics gave Best Director and Best Picture to Parasite, and Best Screenplay went to Baumbach for Marriage Story.
Yeah, consolation prizes are consolation prizes, Ashley.
But you say they've been getting screwed over. Nobody will ever be more screwed over by a screenplay Oscar than Jason Reitman in 2009.
You are not incorrect in that statement, AJ. Not at all.
That is unprecedented to this point as of the last 10 years, I think.
So
Parsnip Burger said.
Go ahead.
Parsnip Burger says Parasite will still win because BAFTAs haven't got it right since 12 Years a Slave.
Yeah, but British skew.
Ivory is arguably the biggest screenplay lock of the decade.
Yeah. As somebody else pointed out, though, he didn't have much competition, so...
Yeah, true.
So, the overall for the guilds was AJ with 15, me with 12, and Owen with 11. So
That sucks in the guilds, as always.
So going into tonight, it was AJ on 48, Owen on 44, and me on 42.
Safe to say I'm not winning this season.
So out of the 25 that we could actually predict on, I'm just saying this now because we nearly equaled a record from 2 years ago. The Oscars 2 years ago, AJ, you got 19 out of 24 correct. Tonight, you had 18 out of 25. The sad thing is, me and Owen had 15. That's how predictable tonight was.
And of course, it's the one where they don't show any of this shit.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that because, thankfully, because this was the tweets I was following hours and hours and hours ago from Eric Anderson at Awards Watch, we're going to go in order that they actually presented them. In reality, not the weird hour gap between British film and supporting actress. Or something like that. So, they opened with Outstanding British Film.
Yep.
And of course, I was an idiot. Of course, 1917 won. Next was animated. And that went to Klaus.
Yep. Yes, it did.
I still can't quite remember what made me go for it. It just felt right.
Well, the Annies, and because it wasn't a Disney film, I guess. And it wasn't Shaun the Sheep. Why are they sticking that on Netflix? Next up was makeup and hair. I don't know why I'm doing a dramatic pause, because obviously Bombshell won.
Obviously.
Next came the shorts. So, short animation went to Grandad Was a Romantic. Yes! I finally fucking got a point when nobody else did. It's a rarity in this game. Holy shit. And best short film was Learning to Skate in a War Zone if you're a girl. Unsurprisingly. Next came best score, which went to Joker. Newman's getting fuck all. Again.
I would say this is probably a good bet this race is over.
Unless the Oscar feels sorry.
There's no need to feel sorry for a front runner movie, Ashley.
Well, is it going to have the Deakins effect, though? Are people going to realise, look, we should have given him an award for all these previous, or is it the Scorsese effect? You know, any of these shit, they haven't won anything. Because it's not like Hilda's, career is, coming to an end sort of thing. She's only just starting in this stuff. There's a lot of good scores that she's going to be doing, I'm no doubt, over the next decade at least. Thomas Newman's been doing it for longer than that. At least it wasn't Desplat. At least that's the only saving grace. Because it's like every other year, oh god, it's Desplat. Just give him another one.
Well, once again, I will just stress the 1917 loss, so let it be. Continue.
I might as well mention it here. Did BAFTA do the Glasgow thing because they want it to win on next week? That just was like, okay, why are we doing this? I mean, yes, it's a good performance and everything, but at the same time, why is this random? Why aren't we having any other songs or anything?
Well, since you're going extremely out of order because of doing it literal way that it actually went out, not the way that was broadcast
I don't have the
on
list.
either BBC.
Yeah, I don't have the list of when her performance was in this.
Right. Now, I'm not talking about the performances. I'm talking about the order of the actual awards.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm only going in the order they're presented because obviously most of them were awarded so they could be shoved at the end.
Yeah, that was dumb.
Plus, it gets a chance to AJ to find out from us directly first.
Well, I also need to go into chat. Smarty Boy says Tarantino has won screenplay twice. There isn't a narrative if it's overdue for a win in that category. Doesn't matter. It's Tarantino. He deserves it. Number 2, I don't care about bias. Cool Guy says, I think Parasite wins picture, screenplay, and international at the Oscars. I hope you're wrong, but I hope you're right in the same ways. If that makes any sense? I'm sure it does. Smurfy Boy says if Parasite can wins best picture, can Pain and Glory win international film? No.
Yeah,
very doubtful.
It's like we talked about before. It's like we talked about it also last year with Cold War, but it's like it's fun to think they'll throw a wrench in foreign, but I think we're all overthinking it when we do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hi, Cassie. Cool Guy says no. Cool Guy says this is quite possibly one of the most interesting animated feature races in history.
Yeah.
I can see that. There is a case to be made for animated between 4 films.
I'm trying to work out which one's getting left
What's
out.
the 4th?
Whether it's I Lost My Body or How to Train Your Dragon.
I don't think either of those are in this thing. It seems like it's a 2-horse race right now. But I mean, unless there's something I'm missing, which is a possibility. Someone please, in chat, if you can hear me, explain and elaborate, please.
I Lost My Body got a decent amount of critic wins, but that's not really going to translate, I imagine.
Right.
I don't know.
The only things they're rivaling it are 2014 and 2012. Yeah, he said I Lost My Body, so that verifies the critics' ones. That's what he's referring to. Kevin O'Connell is still my favorite Oscar winner, quite possibly the decade. I'm sure if you've been watching this network long enough, you realize what mine is.
Smurfy Boy makes a good
I'll
point.
never be able to repeat it, ever.
Smurfy Boy makes a good point that I didn't realise. If Hilda does win, she would be the first woman to win Best Score. So there's a story either way. Oh no, a few women won in the 90s when score was split. to the internet.
Yeah, and like the mid to late '90s, they split score up into like comedy and drama, I think. And then back in like the really early days, they had like an adaptation category
Oh
in
yeah,
score.
96. Rachel Portman for Emma, and Dudley for the Full Monty. Okay.
Parsnip.
Nicola Piovani for Life is Beautiful. Oh, that's a guy. I just saw Nicola. God damn it. Teaches me. Whee.
Apparently, Newman won 2 BAFTAs, said Parsnip Burger. He said, I never went along with the belief someone should win or you should give it to them.
So La La
Continue.
Land shouldn't have won back in 2016 then.
Wrong. Continue.
Or Morricone the year before.
Wrong.
Sound went
Yeah.
to 1917.
I'm still. Well, no, I guess I'm not. I was gonna say I'm still confident that they'll split the Oscars, but there's not a whole lot I am confident in outside of the acting categories.
I think there's nothing I'm confident in outside the acting categories.
We kind of touched on it when we we're talking about WGA. I do feel really good about Parasite and original screenplay. Like I was already getting to that point, but I feel like tonight, like really. I feel like I actually mentioned, I think, in the Guild video that WGA kind of solidified it, even though Tarantino was ineligible. It was just like that's all the kind of push Parasite needed to say, especially with its potential picture frontrunner status. Frontrunner being there's 2 frontrunners.
Production design went to 1917.
I had a feeling the Guild didn't end that race.
It's still not over.
British Guild. But at the same time, I mean, you heard it in Christie's speech about how it was done in Scotland and Salisbury. They aren't very well linked to how they made that, Gives credit to some of the editing, which he didn't even get nominated for, either here or the Oscars, so.
Cool Guy says Morricone deserved it. Yeah, damn right he did. Smurfy Boy says VFX is another confusing category. Yeah, it's very true, especially now.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, Cool Guy says, I don't think Oscar voters can tell the difference with sounds. Barstenberger says, if that were the case, Lauren Bacall, Angela Lansbury, Glenn Close, or Judy Garland would have won. Oscars is political, and whatever wins just wins.
There was an interesting piece that went up today by the arts editor of the BBC, Will Gompertz, basically with an anonymous message that was sent to him saying, I've only seen a quarter of the films that were eligible to be nominated at the BAFTA.
Then you should not be allowed to vote for anything.
That's what a lot of people are wondering whether it should be, considered about. Most people only saw, either on the big screen or via the screeners, the stuff they wanted to see, not the stuff that they should see. But the problem is, with some of these people with their normal day jobs, I think they said it would be sort of like 500 hours that they'd have to watch, which obviously wouldn't be enough time in the day if they're also doing, producing work on sets and whatever. So there's way too much for them to do.
Then don't let them vote.
Well, then the problem is you only get 2,000 people voting.
Yeah, but 2,000 is a much better situation than people that have no idea what they're talking about. Cool Guy says, I have 1917 based on one Oscar ballot quote. Endgame Skywalker line, nothing new. Irishman is great but looks wonky in parts. 1917 is masterfully done. Continue.
Costume design. Of course, they went for the obvious one, AJ. Little Women. Good old Jacqueline Duran.
I still feel good about going Jojo Rabbit at the Oscars,
Yeah.
though.
I think that was easily British you. Because, she's British. She ain't some foreigner like Maez C. Rubio it.
But if Little Women's gonna walk away with only one award,
Yeah.
why does it have to be this one? Come on, people, Jesus!
Of all things.
I literally hate this season for a lot of reasons I don't want to hate this season for.
Yeah, but do you really want her to take screenplay when we can get a Waititi win out of this?
She deserves to win. Why can't it be this time?
Because there's a better choice. Better choices. She's not out.
Oh, I know, but it's looking more bleak by the day. Like I said before, they just don't like either one of them right now. They're both gonna go home empty-handed on Oscar Sunday.
Well, no, because
At
Marriage
this
Story.
rate,
Marriage Story. Laura Dern's
they're
got it
not
locked.
winning. Their movie's winning, but they're not winning.
When it gets on the DVD box, it
No.
says this film won an award for that role.
The person won an award. It's not going to be there, so it's like
Now I really want Scarlett to take supporting actress so that JoJo can beat both of their movies.
I would
You
love to
don't
see
think Warner
Scarlett
Brothers
Johansson
are going
win.
to say the Oscar-winning Joker because of Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah, Joker's got at least 2 in the bag at this point.
Yeah, I guarantee that one. O'Neill said that some voters told them they never watched 12 Years a Slave but voted for it anyway, and they still haven't watched it. Smurfy Boy says, I still feel that Irishman's going home empty-handed on Sunday. I don't see anything it can win at this point, honestly.
That's partly why That's partly why Prince William brought up the issue in his little speech before he even got to the fellowship. He was like, "Is that diverse enough? They're going to do an immediate review and getting their shit together, practically." There wasn't even a round of applause for it. There was just like a hushed silence of like, "Do we react to us being racist?" Like, it was, the one that matters, at least to us here, editing, went to Ford v Ferrari.
Heck yeah, it did. One more for the good guys.
The only time that Owen isn't going to say begrudgingly, Roger Deakins.
No, I'm not going to say
Roger Deakins winning cinematography. I think you backed down and said that's the only one that you were happy with.
I'm not going to say happy for any of it, but no. I will say that if I had to pick one that I think is understood for me, it's that one.
Mm-hmm.
So, Cool Guy says, Oscar-winning Suicide Squad, hashtag never forgot. I'm sorry, I think Suicide Squad gets way too much of a bad rap, but that's just me.
We'll see if the box office for Birds of Prey proves that that's the way it needs to go.
Top Hat says I may have to put JoJo for screenplay. Much deliberation to be done. Some of us we waited early and did before the show, and that's the reason why we're stuck now. Denzel not getting shows a clear problem with BAFTA, if you ask me. Denzel never getting nominated is what Smurfy Boy is talking about.
Also, have you noticed how the last 3 years we've seen a black winner of Rising Star?
Nope, because I completely forget about that category's existence after it's over.
So did everybody when it was like, Adam Deacon won this?
Am I just forgetting, or is this the first year that they were treating Rising Star like it was fucking Picture and presenting nominees
Yes.
throughout the
Yes.
Because when they did Jack Loudon first, I was like, wow, they're spending a lot of time on this. This category is going to take forever. And then it just went to another category.
Yeah.
They were treating it like it was a picture, or honestly, in my situation, I felt like they were treating it like it was like a best original song. Throughout the show, we got a different person until it was given out.
But then it was like, we're going to give Jack Loudon all this time and present him by himself, and then we're going to group the others
We're
in
going to
twos.
stick Aquafina with Michael Ward, and we'll stick Harrison with
Diva.
Yeah, with Diva.
So it kind of was like when Slumdog had that very annoying performance at the Oscars, and they had that one tiny moment.
Yeah, because Peter Gabriel told him to go fuck themselves.
Yeah, he did. John Legend came out and sang the song instead. Cool Guy says I have Ford for showy editing, long day. Parasite could upset. Irishman is DOA if the editors didn't give a 3.5 hour long movie the award. I don't see Oscars going that way. No, Irishman's done. And it sucks because it's a really good movie. If you can keep me awake during a 3-hour movie, you're successful.
With its constant rise and its partial guild win, I don't think JoJo's out of editing either.
I don't either, honestly. Klaus has bagged up Woody in his toy sack. It's a blood feud, boys. Yeah, Mr. Top Hat, very true. I thought it was Missing Link that was the challenger because don't bet against Leica, but Klaus came out of nowhere. It's like Latino, man.
I still think don't bet against Leica. That's why it's a 3-horse race. Maybe.
Not to mention Missing Link wasn't even here.
Yeah, remember when Tom Holland beat Lucas Hedges? I remember.
I mean, Shaun the Sheep was good, but it wasn't that good.
I can't get into those movies. I don't know why. I just can't.
Are you talking about the first one or Farmageddon?
No, Farmageddon. That was the one that was nominated.
I didn't know if you just meant in general or...
No, Farmageddon. Then we
Cool Guy doesn't like Missing Link.
Oh, we know that. Then we sort of get back on track because it's supporting actress. So that tells you the situation, Owen. When it was on television, British film, then supporting actress, about 40 minutes of nothing that was stuck on the end of the broadcast was shoved in this block.
All that matters is now you can say without a shadow of a doubt something that AJ wants more than anything on Sunday night is going to actually happen. I would speak in an absolute.
As long as you say it and I don't, then we're okay.
Exactly.
What, Mahershala Ali is giving an award to Laura Dern? What was that?
Next.
Adapted screenplay for JoJo.
Yeah.
I figured this was going to be the BAFTA skew, the British skew. Apparently, I might have been onto something, so the fact that I didn't even go for it means
that was the first thing. Oh, I couldn't help but notice one of the first clips they showed, I think it was in the montage for the two popes, was the Anthony Hopkins ASMR video.
I don't know whether it was Hopkins one or Price's one. Because it wasn't this one. Because as soon as they were getting to, oh, he's going to eat the pizza, oh, they cut away, the bastards. I was like, damn it. The guy that I'm getting the tweets on for the order of things has said, No adapted screenplays won WGA and BAFTA, then lost the Oscar for this decade. So, history will have to be made. Apparently.
Smurfy Boy says the British skew was not in Florence Pugh's favor.
No.
Yeah.
The problem is, 3 of the nominees were in films with each other this fucking year. So, Marriage Story and Little Women. So it's like, of course it crosses over. Margot Robbie's the one out.
In all honesty, the only reason Zellweger is undeniable is because people proclaimed she was, and no one managed to think twice about it.
It's always the problem where you always get one person that plays a fictionalized version of a real character that they just go ham on. You've seen it with Johnny Cash. You've seen it with Stephen Hawking. You've seen it in plenty of years. And Judy Garland is this year's, I'd say. We'll get to that anyway. Debut by a British director, writer, or producer went to Bait because it was literally all 3. Because Kate Byers and Lynn Waite were both producers, and Mark Jenkins was the writer and director.
Yeah, going back to what you just said, wasn't Regina King the only winner last year for a fictional character? It was Malik Coleman and Ali.
Yeah, Anne. Yeah, Queen Anne in Favourite, Green Book, and yeah, Bo-Rap Horseman. See? There's always one. Sometimes there's more than one.
What is Zellweger's narrative? Please tell me.
The role's just baity as fuck.
Yeah.
And it's her. I guess you could say her comeback was supposed to be Bridget Jones's Baby, and should have been, because that movie's amazing.
It got overshadowed by what the hell happened to her face in those 2 or 3 years. Between, was it Case 39?
Yeah, I think that's about when she disappeared.
And then Bridget Jones's Baby happened. When she began to look like Renee Zellweger again.
And there was the whole thing where not only is the role just baity as fuck, but she already had like she's probably gonna win status before Marriage Story, Little Women, and Bombshell were even out.
Mm-hmm.
So
I had it listed, I think, since August when we started this thing.
Yeah, because it's weird how Front-Runner status can work in one of 2 ways. Either you come in late and you stay fresh in their minds, or you hit just hard enough early and that'll just stick. I mean, you could call it lazy voting. I'm sure that's a partial reason.
So
I'd say her personality makes it really easy for her to campaign too, probably.
We'll get to Renee. So yeah, Bait. I went for the wrong category. I had it in British. Should have had it in there. God damn it. I'm pleased to see it got some recognition, and props to the BFI given in the speech as well, because nobody else would touch it. And the BFI was saying, "Yeah, we'll go for this black and white silent film." Then we had the first time I've ever seen this, Ian McKellen looking off his tit with his bloody speech for Andy Serkis. Do you think he was told like 20 minutes before and he was like, get a fucking laptop? Like, what was up with that? It was like, who are we giving this award to? And I'm like, Oh God, has he come out the retirement home? Go back! Jesus Christ. And then out comes Andy Serkis. I'm trying to work out whether they pissed him off by playing Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll because he was in crutches because of a skiing accident. Because they thought, oh, he looks like Ian Jory. Put the Ian Jory music on. The cynic in me hopes not, but who knows? Oh, again, looking at these tweets from Eric Anderson, if you go to 2009, Up in the Air won the Globe, the WGA, and the BAFTA, but Precious won the Oscar. So maybe JoJo isn't
Yeah,
a lock.
I remember being really upset about when that happened. And I was
like you
not one of the
mentioned
only
earlier
ones.
with Reitman, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Little Women took USC Scripter, which used to be the telltale sign you were taking adapted screenplay, until they went off the rails last year and gave it to Leave No Trace. Then that kind of just threw everything.
Yeah, but at least it won something, and then just got ignored by the rest of them because they're idiots. Documentary went to for Sama, which I got a bit shocked by when they showed that second clip when it was nominated, and it was just, oh, that's an explosion. They ain't alive, are they? They dead. You know. And then
Yeah, I don't
the
want to.
speech at the end. I wonder whether that's a speech that might get people that haven't voted in the Oscars yet to go, I'm putting that in. Because it was a very good impassioned speech from Wad al-Khatib.
Yeah, I feel. I mean, I know they clearly loved it because of all the different categories, but I still, when I put that in for the Oscars, I felt pretty good about it, despite American Factory being in a really good place, also.
And then original screenplay. That happened.
I don't know. It could have. I'll put it this way. Deserving winner, without a doubt. And I say this every season when something I'm not wanting to win is winning, and I still like the thing. I love Parasite. I was very happy with it. It's better the second time. But the thing about it is, you have to understand that that's going to be a problem.
And now the thing that's doing the rounds. Bong wins, everybody's happy. Apart from one man. He's angry! You made him
Yeah.
angry, BAFTA!
I was trying to figure that out because I imagine it must be frustrating to be up against Parasite, but at the same time, I feel like if that wasn't the case, Parasite is a movie that Tarantino would love, I would think.
Totally. You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know, the last I heard when somebody, it was still a bit early, but the last time somebody asked him what his favorite movie of 2019 was, he said Crawl. So, I don't know how.
Right.
Surely that's changed by now, or maybe not. He did give that speech about Robert Forster and Alligator recently, so it makes sense.
From the chat, we've got Top Hat says, well, she was a human dating Patrick Warburton when she met Barry B. Benson. It's a tragic story, really. I'm telling you, if someone asked me if I like jazz, they're getting super kicked. Anyway, Cool Guy says, if Little Women came out earlier, there may have been a narrative. SAG miss killed her. It didn't help it, that's for sure.
What about SAG?
If Little Women came out earlier, it could have been a narrative for Greta.
I mean, it still can be.
I mean, there's no way nothing's out yet. Black Klansman wasn't even nominated for screenplay last year and won screenplay at BAFTA. Let's see. All the major contenders were nominated for both. Like I said, Parasite can win for the same reason Get Out won. It's most original. Let's see. Cool Guy says one note for documentary feature. 2017 PGA was Jane. Film predicted after Jane's snub with Faces Places, but Icarus won. 2018 PGA was Won't You. Film predicted after RBG was snubbed with Faces Places, winner Free Solo. And film predicted actor Apollo 11, American Fact. Oh, sorry. Oh, she meant Saoirse Ronan. Cool Guy did. He did. Yeah.
Then we can make Quentin happy. Meanwhile, at the same time, pissing off probably William and Catherine. Because Brad Pitt obviously won. Couldn't be there. Apparently due to family commitments, so.
But he had a great acceptance speech regardless.
I was wondering when Margot Robbie said blah blah blah, if that's what he actually wrote out. I wouldn't be surprised.
Given Brad's attitude, it probably is.
See,
then
here's
again,
the thing.
we saw earlier in the night what to do with an acceptance speech. When Watiti went 29, 28, 27, you give me something on a screen, I'm going to read it. So
it's like Kevin Smith in the Wrap It Up sign when I saw him at Hard Rock Live.
Mm-hmm.
Tarantino's favorite movies of 2013 was Lone Ranger and 2015 was The Intern.
In one interview for 2015, he said Fury Road. Was that before that? That may have been before that came out, I guess.
He said one of them, not one of many from the year. Continue.
Then Cirque du Soleil did a performance set to Somewhere Over the Rainbow, which immediately told me and Owen, well, might as well mark that down now.
But really, did you think there was anybody else that was going to win, honestly?
I mean, no,
well, there
but
was.
They could have been less obvious about it.
But then again, sometimes the opposite happens. Like, I'll never forget when they brought out Sidney Poitier to present Best Director to who could have been Steve McQueen, but ended up being Alfonso Cuarón, despite the fact that Cuarón was always the frontrunner that year. So I don't even know why they tried that. But I don't know.
Here's the only interesting one. Special visual effects goes to 1917.
I'll take the point, but I don't get it.
What made you go with it?
British skew and begrudgingly 1917.
British skew.
How hilarious would it be if Erivo won the Oscar?
Which one? Song or actress?
He's probably talking about actress.
I would say so.
Remember when Baby Driver directors presented sound and got visibly pissed?
How bad would that make BAFTA look when a British actress wins Best Picture having not won anything else, including her own Academy that didn't even nominate her? That's the story we want right there. Yes. I'm on the Erivo train. Let's get it happening. Let's be not predictable.
No,
Let's
AJ
have Renee
officially
Zellweger get up, and then Cynthia Erivo gets named, and she's like, "Shit, what?"
AJ officially is now campaigning as the world's biggest 1917 mark on the face of planet Earth, so we can kill this thing and let it die before Sunday night. Let's see. Jeffrey asked me how come I look so sad tonight. I'm not sad, Jeffrey. I'm cold. There's a difference.
He's recovering from his
Remember when
wounds.
all Black Panther cast members presented an award for Black Panther, win or lose? Sounds like a one-off for 1917. It won't win the Oscar. Cool guy thinks 1917 will win visual effects.
But that's the problem. If there is no continuity at all, because
there is no front runner for visual effects.
The Critics' Choice
No
went with
chance.
Avengers. The VFX Society went with Lion King and Irishman, and BAFTA went with 1917. So what we're trying to say is Star Wars is screwed. Or maybe Star Wars wins and then it's the ultimate sort of everything got everything at some point.
This is off topic, but while I'm remembering it, did either of you guys see Richard E. Grant's red carpet interview?
Not the interview itself, no.
Well, Richard E. Grant is one of my favorite people now.
What did he say?
Well, they asked him what his favorite movies of this year were, and he said he saw Joker 4 times. And I was like, wow, I'm impressed, Richard E. Grant. And then immediately after that, he said he saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood 5 times. It's like, good on you, Richard E. Grant, as if you weren't likable enough already.
Please tell me he saw Bait 6 times. And I'm joining it. I mean, it's only about 89 minutes. It's about half the length of Once Upon a Time. You could probably watch it 6 times. Then we get to Best Film Not in the English Language, which was the give props to the actor rather than the director. For a minute there, I thought, is it going to be another standing ovation?
I've seen Parasite 3 times now.
I'm seeing it for a second time tomorrow with a bomb Q&A.
When you've seen Parasite enough times, it is so jarring to see Song Kang-ho in a tux. It just doesn't look natural.
It's very true.
Then we had the Dead People.
A lot of people missing from this one.
Well, the only... a lot, I was thinking, why is Albert Finney not there? But of course, the issue is the Screen Actors Guild last year was before Finney died. BAFTA was literally like days before, so they stuck it in. Although, probably pleasing AJ, Terry Jones did get a mention, and they did include the Messiah clip. Oh yeah.
Let's see. Chat says, have they announced that Malik, Coleman, Ali, and King will be presenting individually or as pairs?
That doesn't seem to be addressed now.
It better be individually. That's gonna fucking piss me off.
In other news that I think I've also got from this tweet, the rumor is Eilish is doing the In Memoriam singing Yesterday, from the Beatles. So it's not...
I said that, but I didn't know what the song would be.
Yeah. It's not going to be anything to do with Bond.
When Hugh Grant was presenting, all I could think was, that's that rapscallion he tried to frame Paddington. Fantastic, Top Hat. You definitely win.
Key that you were thinking of that, though, rather than The Gentleman. Which is got the longest legacy.
Cassie says, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was a really good movie. I hope it will win some Oscars. It deserves to.
Well, it's going to win at least one.
It's guaranteed one, for sure. Hopefully that's not the only one. Parson and Berger only saw Hollywood once, was not his thing. Love Parasite. Hollywood is just too mainstream and not even Tarantino's best. I know someone in the middle who would totally disagree with you. Or the sides, actually, depending on what you're looking at.
Tell them to fuck off.
Exactly. My roommate, tell him, yeah, exactly.
Eat my ass if you don't like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. If you like Parasite, you know what that means? You have good taste in movies, but you don't like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, you can shut your fucking mouth up.
Yes.
Same team as high school football rules.
Dude, is my doppelganger there?
I told you, man. You and Darren are like 100% like similar in so many ways.
You've been told,
I
Jack.
told you
You've been
we
told.
watch that movie on YouTube like on the regular when they're here.
You've been told.
So yeah. Let's see. Cool guy says, would it be hilarious if Richard E. Grant said out of nowhere he saw Dark Waters 24 times? And AJ is frozen.
I mean, yeah, probably.
I never watched the BAFTA because I don't have cable. I knew the winners at like 3 p.m. Jeffrey, we did too. It's just we didn't look at them.
Oh, wait.
Ashley knew it before that.
Pop quiz for AJ. So there were 25 awards handed out tonight. You know, that weren't already allocated or whatever. How many of those do you think were presented before it was actually broadcast on television over here?
Half.
22. Part of me isn't sure whether they started super earlier because they knew the Americans might want to watch the bowl of soup.
Like you said, though, there's not much of an overlap there, Ashley.
It probably would be. Speaking of I Told You So, though, Michael Ward winning Rising Star. Do you think Aquafina just had a premonition considering she never showed up? Or is she busy filming something? I can't even remember what she's in.
It might be her TV show or something.
Wasn't she supposed to be filming something like really soon that she just got cast in? Oh, maybe she's busy doing the what is it, the Marvel film Shang-Chi. Then again, it says it's in pre-production. Because I was just wondering whether she was, because that would explain why Brad Pitt's having to look after the kids because Angelina Jolie's busy with Shang-Chi. Or is that the other one? I lose track of what films.
Yeah, she's in that. It's a one-word title. I can't remember what it is, like Eternals or something.
That's it. Yeah. So what was? Oh, the only thing that seemingly she's filming now, according to Wikipedia, which is obviously really accurate, is The Prom from Ryan Murphy. Oh God, starring Meryl Streep and James Corden.
Okay. Judging by the title, it sounds like a really crappy horror movie that come out in January. Judging by the cast, it sounds like something completely different.
It's the musical comedy based on the musical of the same name that he did.
Oh, The Prom is actually going to be a movie?
Yes.
That's cool.
Meryl Streep as Dee Dee. Partnering with James Corden's Barry in a musical about Eleanor Roosevelt. Joined by Angie Dickinson, played by Nicole Kidman, and Andrew Reynolds as Trent Oliver. And then Keegan-Michael Kay and Kerry Washington are in it as well in supporting roles. And you'll be pleased to know it's Netflix only. Well, there goes any Oscar chance for that.
Well, it can't be any worse than James Corden's last musical. I know. I made a statement in my work.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that because that was an important point of tonight's show.
I know in my worst of the year video, I made it a whole point to say it's old news to rag on Cats, but there, I just did it again.
Watch it.
Top Hat says,
If somehow
I
it
can
doesn't
see it
win
now.
any, if somehow it doesn't win any Razzies next week, that'll be the big shock. Anyway, chat. Sorry.
Might be too obvious. Speaking of chat, take care of that. Mean
Uh,
Girls the musical is getting a movie adaptation. Ooh, I'm down with that. I
Yeah.
can see it now. This time. Go ahead.
Tina Fey is writing the screenplay as we speak, I believe.
Yep. I can see it now. This time next year, and the Oscar goes to Minions: Rise of.
What was up with that bloody Super Bowl? Not anything. Jeez.
I hope they never get James Corden to host, and surprised he even has a career after Cats.
Oh, don't worry. Peter Rabbit 2 and Trolls in the next 4 months alone.
Okay. Speaking of that, I want to get there myself. So this weekend, I was able to catch 2 of the 3 of the shorts that are shown, the Oscar-nominated shorts. The documentary one is actually not here. Live action's here and animated's here. The lead-in trailers. AJ, this was when I would have loved doing this because I totally would have put some wicked stuff on here. They put regular animated trailer pack on, and basically I got to see Peter Rabbit and Trolls before the shorts because it said animated. Some of those animated shorts do not need to be seen by children.
Keep in mind, I saw the trailers for Peter Rabbit and Onward and Spies in Disguise with Parasite.
I got good trailers of Parasite the first time it was at my theater, and now that they brought it back, it's just regular trailer pack.
I hope that means that they also played the normal animated trailers like that when they did the animated short screenings when Logorama was there.
God, that'd have been great. I'd love to have seen that in a theater.
Oh,
I'd love to see how many people walked out when that movie started.
I take it back. We've also got James Corden as the voice of superintelligence in Superintelligence. You know, Melissa McCarthy's new film. Although, interestingly, apparently that'll be debuting on HBO Max. The film is fucked already. James Corden, look what you've done. And then apparently he's working on the story as well as producer on Cinderella.
Anyway,
With fucking Havana having a Camilla Cabello as Cinderella. And Billy Porter as the fairy godmother. Why am I not surprised? Adina Menzel, Pierce Brosnan as the king. Oh, we're going to make him sing again. Oh, no.
there's already a movie. Cassie says there's already a movie of Mean Girls. It's not that good. Why did they need to make a musical movie? I
Ooh,
like
that's
Mean Girls
controversial.
a lot. And I like the music
Yes,
from the play.
Corden, what the fuck are you doing? Hang on, who's directing it?
Kids love social class warfare, says Mr. Top Hat.
Can Kay Cannon save it? Oh, she wrote and produced Pitch Perfect. Oh,
Let's
she did
move on.
Blockers as director. Okay. She might rescue it. Casting.
It's 12:30 in the morning. Take it home.
Casting.
That's next.
Yes. They did such an effort about saying here's this new category, and they shove it in the awards presented earlier. Even though it actually wasn't presented earlier, it was presented after the Rising Star, which was, 30 minutes from the end.
It was the last award that was presented in what I heard.
Yeah, probably because they only had about 40 minutes to edit it in there, with all the others that were like an hour before.
Anyway, at any rate, it was a shock winner here, but not so much if you really pay attention to how many nominations it got.
Yeah, Joker. Even though most of the casting I completely forgot about, so is that the job of casting?
I don't know.
And the casting woman couldn't make it because she gave birth to a girl, literally like days ago. So Zazie Beetz accepted it for her. So yeah. Apparently, a film where the stuntmen were getting beat up for real by Joaquin Phoenix was great casting. I lost the memo. What? And now we come to Rebel Wilson. I don't. Was she trying to be Ricky Gervais? Because apparently people were loving it on social media. I just think it was a way that there's never going to be a world premiere with any of the films that she's in ever again. If she did write it. Jesus, the Royal Andrew, the Royal Harry Hall.
Nothing. And I do mean nothing about what she warbled on about was worth anything and funny in any way possible. I feel like the principal and Billy Madison right now.
My open
That's
wallet.
the vibe I'm getting from this speech.
My open wallet, which is what I call my vagina. The only bit that made sense is listing off the directors and saying I couldn't do that job, I haven't got the balls. That was the only bit that actually worked. The rest of it was just like, oh, now do you see why we don't like you in comedies? You know.
I also noticed they kept cutting to her every time JoJo was mentioned, despite the fact that she's probably the person in the cast that's in it the least that was there.
Accurate.
Well, the person that's in it's the least is Alfie Allen. They never invited him. Anyway, director went to Mendes. Which, as he said, is the first time he's actually won the Best Director at the BAFTAs. Despite, American Beauty. Thanks, James Cameron. Was that 97?
No, American Beauty was 99.
So what won that year?
If I had to guess, I don't even have a guess.
Oh no, Mendes won at the Oscars. So what did they... 73rd British Academy Awards. I need to know who won back in '99 and who was in it. Who were the idiots?
If I had to take a guess, I'd say Lassie Hallstrom, but that's my only. If it's not him, I have no idea.
No, Almodovar for All About My Mother.
Wow.
Because reasons. Sorry, that caught us everybody off guard. It was that's actually worth looking up and going, what? Then a very good speech from Joaquin Phoenix for Best Actor. If he was going to be awkward, he might as well say how awkward it was that everybody else was awkward by being racist. And openly admitting that he was the problem as well. It's just like, holy shit. Now I want to get behind him and want him to win, even though I don't because it's too predictable. It's like...
Jeffrey says that casting category made no sense. Top Hat says congratulations for hiring this guy. Smurfy Boy says isn't Joker a one-man show? Top Hat says I have a Gumby cat in mind. Her name is Jenna Ann Dotts. Jenny Ann Dotts. Wow, interesting. Let's see. Jeffrey says YouTube is saying Rebel Wilson was hilarious. We know via the comment section, especially if you're on YouTube, that what they say is not always true. And Pedro Almodovar winning at BAFTA that year.
I mean, it's... I don't know about the whole Rebel Wilson thing. people were like saying, "Oh, you know how awesome it was on Twitter and whatever," and I was like, "It's all right." It was better than Ricky Gervais because there was one joke that actually worked, but still the rest of it seemed a little bit, awkward.
Great segue. Next question.
Speaking of awkward, Renee Zellweger. How long did she go on for?
So long, I don't care anymore. Next
She
category.
thanked
Do
everybody.
do you remember the scene in Ted when Mark Wahlberg goes through all the names? That was Zellweger's speech.
I like to thank everybody I thanked the last 14 times I've been up on this stage.
Well, no, she actually thanked Jessie Buckley. She hadn't thanked her before. She actually spent like 40
Everybody.
seconds on Jessie Buckley, which was good. Oh. Oh.
Next.
AJ died.
He's on pause again. Just continue, Ashley.
Best picture going to 1917.
We weren't surprised about this one, though.
And then we had The Fellowship as well. Prince William getting Daisy Ridley and John Boyega, which a lot of people pointed out some of the points Boyega didn't look like he wanted to be there. Probably because he thought he was signing on for a series and then, is getting killed off due to this mismanagement of her and JJ, arguably. Especially when you look at all the stuff. The big thing for me that came out, at least this past week, which I just want to briefly mention here, all the leaked artwork that came from the behind the scenes books that got cancelled from being printed, except from in Hong Kong where they first came out. There's a lot of stuff that they left out of Star Wars that a lot of the diehards and the not diehards would have wanted to see, which isn't helping her issue any further. So in terms of the awards, 1917 took 7 out of its possible 9 and was the big ass winner. Joker took 3 out of its 11. Parasite took 2. And then 1 for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Jojo, Little Women, Marriage Story, Fasama, Bombshell, Judy, Le Mans 66, and Bait, in terms of the multiple. So Star Wars took nothing, Rocketman took nothing, The Two Popes took nothing, and the big one, those 10 nominations for Irishman, turned to 0. No wonder Scorsese didn't show up. It's always an interesting situation. Something I didn't realise, because I'm just looking through this tweets here, and you've already confirmed this to me, Owen. They actually had the reactions of the Oscar nominations in the animated shorts, didn't they? Or most of them.
For the most part, yeah, they did.
Which I don't.
Kid Bull was the one I do recall. Easily was the only one that I remember that did not have them.
I don't think they've done that before, have they? At least not that I'm aware of.
I don't know. I've been fortunate enough to ever see these before this year.
True. So, scores on the doors. Basically, it's a 2-horse race between me and Owen for last. Because I'm on 57, Owen's on 59, and AJ's on 66. I'm tempted to say you've won it, AJ, now. And I'm pretty sure with the amount of times that all three of us match up or two of us match up, it's probably you've already won by default. But we'll see
One
next
thing,
week.
one thing I will say about the animated shorts, since they're so literally short, they actually tacked on a few different ones that didn't get nominated.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Including Off Road, which was absolutely hilarious in every way possible. Something called The Bird and the Whale. There was a couple other things.
Oh,
It's a
really?
long title. It's Chris Cooper and Christina Hendricks. Short about a girl who has an abnormal back deformity,
It
and
wasn't.
her dream is basically to fly so she can see the world properly. This is very sweet.
It wasn't Snail and the Whale, was it?
No.
Okay. Just because there's an actual animated film called The Snail and the Whale. So I was
No,
a
it was
bit
definitely Bird and the Whale.
okay.
And I can say straight up after watching the shorts that I have zero interest in ever seeing Brotherhood again. And I think Daughter should not have been nominated.
Wow.
I still have nightmares of that nasty looking paper mache animation. But I think I made the right choice with Kit Bull, and I loved Hair Love. It was really good.
What about what was the other one? Sister?
What?
Sister was the other short film.
Sister's good.
Okay.
Sister's really good. It takes an interesting turn at the end.
And memorable?
Anything but.
Oh, but hang on. We need to transition. What about Donkey with motherfucking headphones?
Dude, it was amazing. I literally got to see it live, and I'm telling you, NEFTA Football Club is great. I love the concept. I love literally the donkey with headphones is a drug mule,
Yeah.
and quite literally, the headphones are on in Bernie Lomax voodoo style, playing Adele, so it could actually take that to the drug spot, and the guys can follow the mule. This is fantastic. The kids find it; they think it's laundry detergent, and they make their football arena with it. It's phenomenal.
Oh shit. We got behind the
Absolutely
right
great.
horse. I mean the right donkey. Yes.
Yeah, NEFTA Football Club is great. I really enjoyed it. Like, there was a lot of good stuff that I got to see. Like, I can remember the other ones. What was the other ones? Ashley, you got the list in front of you.
Neighbor's window.
Neighbor's Window is really good. It also takes an interesting turn as well. I think it's very solid. I really enjoyed it.
Saria. Or Saria.
It's heartbreaking. It really is. And it's like I really hate one person in the entire short, and I'm supposed to because this really happened. It's based on a true story, and it's just it's chilling what exactly happens.
And A sister.
Oh, the first one. So there is a starts out with a girl, and she is in a high speeding car with a guy, and she's on the phone with what we think is her sister, but it's a police dispatch, and pretending to be her sister and trying to find out her whereabouts because she is being either kidnapped for like trafficking, or we don't ever get that. I'm just guessing that's what it is. And they basically have to act like her sister in order to get her out of peril. It's real good too.
Wow, these sound look good. Apart from Brotherhood.
Brother is just boring.
Brotherhood and Memorable are like the two which are like, why did they make it in here?
Okay, I didn't like Memorable, but I will say Memorable is got a good concept to it. It's kind of like the guy it seems like he's suffering from Parkinson's, and I have friends that have family members that are suffering from Parkinson's. My stepmom, her mother had Parkinson's before she passed, and it's basically like having to live. The wife lives the life of the nurse. Some days the wife, some days the mistress. Just she basically is living her life differently every single day because he's slowly forgetting who she is, and he's kind of remembering. And it's like one of the last shots about it is literally when they're dancing, and it's like he's moving on because his wife is long gone, and she of course is there the whole time. It's really sad, honestly. I didn't like it it's the one I didn't like the least, but it does have a good story to it. So, yeah, that's something you'll never thought you'd ever hear me do. Give recaps of the freaking shorts on the podcast.
Also, apparently, Maisie Williams was auditioning for Frozen 3.
And hear about the Nefta Football Club that really annoyed me. That little brat took Donkey's headphones off and wore him for himself, and that's the reason Donkey ran away.
Yeah.
Because apparently it was set up like he was supposed to like listen to Adele, and Adele would make the donkey go where they want him to go, and they just follow him to get the drugs. But no cocaine for you. So yeah, Nefta Football Club was great. I'm glad we backed it with the meme we've ran this entire season, but it's totally worth it. And what sucked, AJ, is literally there was this mark that was 4 seats over from me, and he was just there. And of course, when I saw that donkey pop up on the screen, I'm like, yeah.
Even even if you don't know it's coming, how do you not react to an image like that?
No one did. Granted, there was like 4 people in the theater, and the average age of the people was like 49, but still, it was great. It was a great experience. I'm glad I had it. I really am. I wish I would have seen shorts.
So what we're saying is next year, when we actually get to the shortlist, I need to look through the synopsises and find out which is the fucking bandwagon we're on next year. Donkey with headphones has started a trend. We all go down in a blaze of glory or blaze of triumph.
Yeah, when it comes down to shorts, honestly, the thing that I always go back to, AJ brought it up, it's Logorama. That was the shocking one that I didn't think that I put a lot of stake in that before we were doing stuff like this, that really would not ever fly nowadays. But my God, it seemed like it was perfect for the time, and I just loved it so much. That was when we used to watch all the shorts. It's not so easy anymore. But
Yeah,
I think
a lot of them used to be a lot more comedic, like This Way Up and The Lady and the Reaper and all those.
yeah, so many great things we used to have before. But on that note, I think that's going to be the take home.
Yeah, it's going to have to be because, as you can probably see, my connection is not worth dick tonight.
But luckily, I don't have to be up in 7 hours. I got to be up in 9 hours. So at least I'm going to get some good sleep after my 47-degree run today. Or yesterday, now I can say that.
So it all boils down to the 9th.
Next week, next Sunday, we will be live beforehand to talk about the Razzies, talk about the Spirit Awards.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to give our criteria for our, I guess, best of the year if we were picking them, and I guess best of the decade. Hopefully, we'll get some more information. How about if you can hear me? I know you're not in chat right now. Brian, message me somewhere in social media and like let me know what the criteria is, so I know what to do and to tell everybody else to do. So, Ashley will be back with more content soon. AJ's got Versus returning in the near future, and I've got Voices and Sip and Snack coming back very soon as well. So, next thing I got for Voices is Echo sets, actually. Zach filmed me the Echo sets from Voices one day, and I've got all that coming for you guys one of the weeks because I have 5 videos, so that makes perfect sense. That is your content. That is your podcast. And thank you, Ashley and AJ, for joining us tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, live chat. And in a world where there are a billion people trying to predict the Oscars, thank you for joining us since August. And thank you for continuing to join us until the very end next Sunday. And that's all we got to say about that.
7 days, donkey. We all die. I mean, hopefully die of joy. Oh, that sounded a bit too weird. Hey, at least it was better than the Grudge remake.